One.
What's up, Charles Weems?
What up?
How you doing, man? Hey, welcome, man. Welcome
Good
to
to see you.
welcome to Ackworth. Welcome to Burn the Ship, man.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, man. So Charles owns a company called Weems Studio Designs.
Weems Design Studio.
See, dyslexic.
That's all right.
That's my dyslexic mind, right? Genius people are dyslexic.
That's right.
Yeah. Or left-handed is what I hear, right? They're either left-handed or dyslexic. So, Burn the Ship is a business podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We like to get in front of entrepreneurs. We like to learn their story. We like to learn a little bit of their trade, see how they got where they got, really give help to our listeners that want to be entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs right now, because we learn from each other.
That's right.
We learn from other people's mistakes. We learn from our mentors. We learn from people below us that do stupid shit.
That's right.
We learn we learn in many different ways. So this is just one of the ways we learn, and maybe you can get some business out of it, or maybe one of our people will contact you and learn something from you.
Absolutely. I'm
So,
always here to help. So.
Tell me where you're from. Tell me how you started the company, and all that.
All right. So I'll reach back a little bit. So I'm born and raised from Decatur, Georgia.
The Duck.
The deck, straight from the deck. Went to Columbia High School, started a golf team there. I actually had a golf scholarship to college. So I was able to go to Grambling State University, which is in Louisiana.
Nice.
On the computer side, it started with playing video games. So I've been playing video games since I can remember. And so I already knew I wanted to do something with computer science. So I went to Grambling State University, degree in computer science and mathematics, came home, built websites, Flash animation for different people, and got my first professional job as a software engineer with a small firm in the Atlanta area. And from there, started my own firm. It started out as Weems Web Consulting.
Nice.
So it started out with just me consulting out my services, building things for people. Eventually, in 2006, I started Weems Design Studio.
Nice.
Doing the same thing. Started out with myself. Fast forward to now, we have a team of about 70 people where we build software, essentially. We do some other services as well, professional services around like data analytics, some data science work. But at the core, we're essentially an IT firm specializing in software development. So.
Let me ask you a question. When you got the job out of college, you worked for a firm that that led you in the path to what you're doing right now. What made you leave that company?
Well, like most entrepreneurs, we actually just had this conversation.
Sure.
The web design and all of that stuff was my side hustle. So my thought was, if I could build up the side hustle to match the salary that I was at with the firm that I was working for at the time, then I would quit. So essentially, my side hustle picked up, and so I eventually left the firm, but I was able to still garner relationships that I had at the firm. I knew the owner very well. He took a liking to me, and he was able to help me get some government work as well.
Nice.
So it was essentially burning the candle at both ends, and supplementing my income. And then I just started.
So that's when you burnt your ship. Is you're like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm out. I'm doing my own thing now. And that's every entrepreneur crosses that bridge at some point. It's like, I either stay corporate, I stay doing this, or I go on my own. And you have to get your mind wrapped around that.
That's right.
And you better be ready for troubled water, because it's coming at some point.
It does. I mean, for me, I had a plan. That was my plan, and no one plan is like a right or wrong path, I guess.
Sure.
So that was just mine, is to say, once I get to the point where I can supplement my income, I'm good.
Right. I just feel like that Mike Tyson has a saying. It says everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. You know what I mean? So I say that because some things you just can't. Tornado, hurricane. The first business I owned was down in Jacksonville. It was a marketing company. And the year that it was like 04, 05, and there was like 4 hurricanes that came through. Every month one came through, and I opened my doors when the first one came through.
Oh, wow.
And we're a door-to-door company. So there's boards on all the windows and everything in Jacksonville. So that's where I started my company is hurricane hell.
But even after you start a business, like it's a wave, right?
It is.
Because even working with primarily our customer is the government, and so we've had situations where we've done all of this work to mature relationships, and the customer wants us to do the work, and then at the last minute, they'll say, okay, no, we're not going to do that this year. And it's like,
right.
Well, we've hired people, so you just have to maneuver through it.
What is, So the company you were at right out of college, they did government work too?
Yes, sir.
So you learned how to get those contracts and those things from those businesses.
Yeah. So for me, I've always been a person to seek out help. Like that's one of the things mentors have told me growing up is to know what your weaknesses are and don't be ashamed to say I need help. And so one of the things that in doing business is I always get around people and I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And so fortunately for me, working at that firm, I had the opportunity to talk to the owner and just be blunt and just ask these questions. And, he would give me, some feedback, good and bad.
Yep.
And I think that helps as you grow as an entrepreneur. I still do it today. Like I have mentors that I call on a regular basis, and even other programs where I seek out to knowledge to be a better entrepreneur. Because I'm an engineer at the end of the day. So the business stuff I'm still learning. But you definitely when you feel like you know too much, that's when you're in trouble, or you know it all, I should say.
Well, yeah, I tell these guys that work with me. I say with me, not for me, most of the time. So when they work with me, I go, I say, if your cup's too full, nothing can get poured in there. And I say it about merchants too that we have. Like when we sign up somebody for credit card processing, I talk to them, I was like, that guy's cup's too full, man. Yeah. If it gets too full, you better humble yourself and empty it out. Because if you think you know it all and you made it, you're done. That's when you're done. If you're like, I made it, I did it. Well, then you're done.
Yeah.
You're mentally done with. And I'm not saying you're not in a good situation.
Sure.
You could have built your company up to millions of dollars, but if you're like, I know it all, you have literally stopped yourself from going to the next place.
Yeah.
It could be $1 million company or whatever, but that's when you better retire after that.
No, I agree. And that's the ego is a hard thing to manage, I would say. Like if you don't keep it in check, you can easily become that person that,
It's a fine line between confidence and ego.
It is.
It is.
A red line.
Confidence and cocky is what people say, but cocky is ego, I think. Well, so what do you think you've done really, really great in business to this point?
So for me, it's doing what was done for me to somebody else. Right. So one of the things that I'm very passionate about is getting the next set of engineers, engaged and have them to have a path to move forward in software development. When I was in school, like I didn't have an internship, believe it or not. I just went back and worked in the golfing industry, worked at a golf course or whatever the case may be. And so that was a struggle for me when I came out of school, is to be able to get a job. Like I went on like 34, 35 different interviews.
God.
Yeah. My mom can tell you the story too.
Interviews. Snob.
And so something that
did you walk out of there like, I'm too good for them?
No.
Or did you be like, man, they suck?
Well, it was, for me, I just wanted an opportunity, because what I would bump into is people would say, well, you're this good guy, but you don't have experience. And I'm like, well, I was in college. Well, how was I supposed to get experience, And so I kept hitting that ceiling. And so at some point I was just like, man, I just want an opportunity. Just give me an opportunity to show you what I can do. And I thought it would help that, I did these things on the side, like doing the web and doing Flash and all that stuff. But,
which you did.
Yeah, exactly. So, so for me, fast forward to now, like it's a mission for me to work with students that are graduating high school and moving into college and after they graduate, if they want to do like software engineering and that kind of thing, is make sure they have a trajectory of success from
clear path.
Exactly. So when they work on real world opportunities, we're very hard.
Nice.
And so the success out of it though is the students that we've worked with over the past like 6 years, all of them are gone now with full-time opportunity.
That's nice.
The lowest starting salary was like $95K, and these kids are like 22, 23 years old. So the highest was, I think to date, is like 140.
For a lot of people, man, that's like hitting the lotto.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's like, I just got a LeBron contract.
Exactly.
22 years old, you got $95,000 coming after taxes at 75.
Exactly.
You're like, dude, I made it.
You balling, yeah.
I made it.
So that's something that I feel like I do very well is the mentoring. To go back to the question, is mentoring, not just on that aspect, but from a business standpoint. Sure. That's why I really like what you're doing here, because that has helped me out a lot, listening to other people's stories.
Cool. Yeah. What kind of, because we know college skills, they're important, and the reason I like the people, kids that go to college is because you're committing to yourself.
Right.
You're not getting work experience there, but you're committing to yourself, getting smarter. You don't have your mom and dad getting you out of bed. You're doing it yourself. And you're doing it as a young person. Really, you're still young. You're 18, 22, 18 to 23, 4, whatever, and you're doing it for yourself. What kind of skill did you learn in college that helped you right now, the main one? And then what kind of skill did you learn in the real world once you got in the trenches and went through your trials and tribulations?
So in college, definitely working with people that don't have the same perspective.
Right.
So learning to meet in a common ground to get something done. So we talked before, I'm in a fraternity, and so I had the opportunity to do leadership roles in my fraternity on campus. And so we would get in conflicts with other fraternities and sororities. And so one of my missions before I left was to make sure that my fraternity was in good standing with everybody. It didn't matter who you were with. And so that took some finagling and some
conflicts, aka fights.
Well, but understanding perspective and understanding where people are.
Sure.
And not always feeling like, well, my way is right all the time.
Sure.
Right? So being able to compromise, even if I think my way is right, we'll just go with your way so that our relationship can be good.
Yeah. So then you'll learn that my way was right later.
Exactly. See, put them in a corner, push them in a corner, and then that's the only choice they have. So
I say this, like when we started this podcast in COVID, a lot of people on the shows heard how this came about, and we set sales records in the May of 2020, and June of 2020, and then July of 2020.
Nice. With
no doors open in a door-to-door company. I invite people in and doing podcasts, and it was really good. And I asked them one day in our Monday morning meeting, I was like, "Why do you think we're signing so many people up?" And they went through their thing, because of the podcast, because of this, because I was like, I don't think so. I think it's way more simple than that. I think that everybody is dealing with so much crap right now, and it's depressing. They're at home all the time and this, and we are happy in what we're doing right now, and we're their escape, and they're happy when they're here. And during that whole time, it was weird. We didn't know what was going to happen to everybody. No, and I don't care where you were in the world.
Right.
In the world. And I just think that people signed up with us because they were happy, and that's kind of goes back to what you just said was, dealing with different people, being happy and being nice goes a long way.
Goes a long way. Yeah, goes a long way. And that has helped me out. That's something that I learned in college.
Yeah.
So as a entrepreneur, the one thing that I've learned is the art of negotiation.
Sure. Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly. The art of the deal. So making it a win-win though.
Yep.
So I went to a seminar some years ago, and the speaker had us to do an exercise, and he's like, we're going to do teams. There was team A, B, whatever, and so you had to pick one person from each team, and we were going to do an arm wrestling match, right?
Okay.
And so he said, all right, now whoever wins, each person gets $100 for every time you win, right? And so we got
college
in groups.
Students, that's a lot.
Listen, so he did it for a minute. And so he's like, so see how many times you can win, right?
In 1 minute.
Yeah, in 1 minute. And so go. So everybody, I'm struggling, and the other groups are, doing the same thing. And then there was one group where it was just like they were doing this back and forth, right? And so we stopped, at a minute, and he, basically anybody
they tricked
get
the
over.
system, didn't they?
Well, here's the key to it. And so
it.
he said anybody get over $200. I think the guy I was with, he had like 5 and I had 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you win. You're gonna let me win, and I'm gonna get 200 hits.
So that's the thing. So he went over to that group and he said, well, why did you guys, do it back and forth, and the conversation that was had was, well, we figured somebody would get more than the other, but if he gets 900 and I get 800, we're good. Like, that's fine that he got more.
But it would be 901 to 900.
Sure,
it would only be one off.
But and so his point was, he said, this is the point. This is the simple point that most people miss in negotiating. Make it a win-win for both parties.
That's a good one. Hey, put that in the bank.
Yeah, make it a win-win. Look at it from the other person's
that's a good one.
perspective. Don't just look at, well, I got to try and outdo you. Figure out how you make it a win-win. If I can make you win and I win, chances are if we have to go through an opportunity where we need to work together, you'll work with me hands down because you know.
It's a teaching moment, man. That's pretty cool. I like that story.
Yeah,
I like that story. What are you looking for in a client? Like you said government a lot, but a lot of people don't know government, how that works, and how to get those things. So what else? And government, what are you looking for in clients? So
the starting point is, you know, from a technology standpoint in the government, it can be a little tricky. I'll just say that it's not always the best technology. So there's always room for improvement. And so when we look to engage with clients, like we consider ourselves modernization specialists, meaning we take, you know, old tech, old ideas, you know, we can design new technology or bring in new custom off the shelf solutions and, you know, spruce up the environment. So when we engage with customers, it's usually when they have a serious problem, is in the sense of they have old tech, they have the business requirements have changed, the expectation of delivery of whatever that service is that they're offering has changed, or it is nowhere up to par where they need to be, and so they really need somebody to come in and
they got to spend money to save their money fast.
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly. And so that can come through improvement of process, it can be improvement of technology, all of those different things. So somebody that can look at the big picture and say, can you help me formulate a strategy to move forward. So there's plenty of that in the government. Now, how you get there, that's a whole different.
You learned that to that first one though. Yeah. What kind of like vertical software do you do? Do you do anything like that's kind of the same? They're like, hey, you know, Charles's company does this. This is what they do. What does that software do?
So we don't offer a product. We do services. Okay. So we handle software in 3 different areas.
Okay.
So one, if you say, hey, Charles, we have an idea. We want to build software from scratch. We handle that. The second area is we have software currently in place, but we want to improve upon it, or are there technologies out there that we can implement to help our process be more streamlined? Can we save money? Blah, blah, blah. We help with that as well. The third area is if they currently have software in place and they just need somebody to come in and maintain what they have, but also be able to enhance the technology that they are currently on. We do that as well. So usually in the government, it'll be new technology. It'll be updating old technology to new platforms and different things like that. Or it'll be taking just what they have and just kind of just improving on what they have. So an example is one of our HUD clients is actually still on the mainframe, so they still program in COBOL. I don't know if you're familiar. But
they're getting disk in the mail.
Exactly, exactly. And so while that's an old technology, instead of ripping it out and doing something new, because the industry is not doing that from an EDI standpoint, they need help just not modernizing, but improving on what they already have. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
What's next?
So for me, just looking to grow, and we have a couple of strategies that we have in play to do that. So one has been to pick up on the private sector side. So while majority of my business has been in government, over the past couple of years, we've been able to pick up some commercial clients.
Sure.
So that's an area that we're
So explain to people that might not know, government, commercial, and then like, what's the next one? Consumer type stuff. So what's commercial?
So commercial would be like so government would be considered like your USDA.
Sure.
So at the federal level. So we haven't done work for like
municipalities
state and local,
and stuff
exactly.
Like that, yeah.
So all of our work has been at the federal level, dealing with the larger agencies. So commercial for us would be working with like a Coke, or 84 Lumber is a client of ours. Home Depot. So working with the more private sector.
So those are enterprise commercial then. Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
And then so we're looking to grow in that area, because believe it or not, some of the issues that we tackle from a government standpoint. A lot of the larger organizations have the same problem,
right?
And so we're able to get in and maneuver since we're small.
So what if a person owns a roofing company and they've just grown like crazy? They're in 4 states and they're like, I want my own software. Will you build them a roofing CRM software?
Well, first we sit and have a discussion, because one of the things that we pride ourselves on is we're not just a software development shop. Like we try to do a lot of work up front to help you vet your ideas as well, and help you realize what it would take to get something like that done. So most people don't understand that software is not something you just build it and that's it. Like,
no, it's ongoing.
It's an ongoing thing.
Absolutely, so, forever.
Yeah, so you can't look at like...
I learned that.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but you can't look at...
I need that credit card again. I'm like, God dang.
Well, see, most people will look at somebody out that they've read a story about where they built something for like $5,000, and it's like, yeah, but they're leaving out a whole gap of they got funding for like $3 million to support. No. So
it's ongoing. There's tickets and
support.
You're constantly building something else to go somewhere else.
That's right.
Which, sometimes, and what I've learned, I know Bailey's learned it too, dealing with his software clients, but like I feel like there's a point where you are building stuff just to build it. I mean, and maybe it's a tax deduction, maybe it's this, maybe you're getting R&D credits and things like that, which that's a real thing. I know that. But like, let's take a QuickBooks, for example. Man, we sell QuickBooks, or we go and we see QuickBooks. Man, they use like 5 things. Small businesses use like 5 things QuickBooks can do. QuickBooks is intense. Man, it does a million things.
A lot of stuff.
And most people just use the 5 things.
Yep, just use the 5 things.
So what I learned is some software developers like you don't need that. And then there's a disconnection between the salespeople and the software developers, because they build our software and they just like, hey, we think you like this. I'm like, I can't sell that.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
They will not care about that.
Right. And so that's why it's important to have, for us, it's been important for us to allow some of the engineers to be on those conversations.
Of course.
So they won't see that we're just talking out our butt. Like we saying that's a great idea, but that's not what the customer is asking for. So let's stay focused on what the customer is asking for.
I learned, and we built a couple softwares now with a couple different folks, and I learned that those first 2 or 3 or 4 meetings are very, very important.
Yep.
Super important. And the details are important. And I don't have an engineer's mind like you.
Yeah. Well, and so I think that's the beauty that I bring to the table is that I can talk that language, but I can also point out like roadblocks and mines that you may walk on. And so I just had a conversation with a potential client about a week ago on an app that he wanted to develop. And so, I wasn't telling him it was a bad idea. I think it's a great idea, but you got to look at these things and have you thought about these things? And he's like, I ain't even really thinking. And I'm like, I'm not discouraging you from doing it, but I'm just saying these are things, whether we do it or somebody else, you're going to run into these hurdles. So just think about it. And, we can help you find the answer to those if you go with us.
Right. Yeah. What is, you had said earlier that you kind of really got into this whole thing as a kid because you like to play video games. Did you ever think about doing the video games?
Of course. That's what it was.
Have you built a video game?
I have built small, like just little games to like learn a new tech. So when HTML5 was really new, like to learn it pretty well, and it's actually still out on the internet. I think I built a spades game that's you could play in a browser. So it has some AI where the other 3 you're playing with a robot partner and the other players are robot. But it was just more so I could understand how HTML5 works on the canvas tag, designing and stuff. So I did that, but being a game developer, I make more money as a business.
Of course you do. To me, like game developing, it's a hit or a flop.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, here, I did this. It's almost like people doing documentary these days and trying to sell them to Netflix. Like it's either really good and interesting, and you might be able to sell it to one of these networks, which is there's a lot. The streaming, there's a lot of them now. Used to, you would have to build these things, spend millions of dollars, and there was a 10% chance. Well, there's so many streaming platforms you can sell them to now. If you do a good one, you probably, you might not get your money back, but you might sell it.
Right.
So, So you probably did the right thing with the government contracts. They pay, they're net 90s, but they pay, right?
Well, if you have a really good person on the finance side that works with the procurement office, like you can get it. They do within 30 days. Now, it depends on the government customer. So, but like on commercial, that is the thing that they have. It's like a usually 60 or 90 day term. So that's what I had to get used to.
Sure.
As well. So
cool. How can we get a hold of you?
Okay. So, of course, my website, the website is Weems Design Studio. We're actually going through a rebranding right now. So weemsdesignstudio.com is accessible. I'm on LinkedIn all the time. So everybody have Instagram and all that stuff. LinkedIn is my baby.
That's a businessman's Facebook.
Yeah, that's my baby. So LinkedIn, just look me up as Charles E. Weems III. There are three of us on LinkedIn. I respond to everyone that reaches out to me. And that's pretty much it.
Man, I'll tell you, you're talking about LinkedIn, and I've never been a big social media guy, and still am not.
Yeah, me either.
Still not huge. I mean, I'm on some of the platforms, but I don't post anything and things. But I'm with you on LinkedIn. I'm looking at it more than anything. And right when Bailey walked in, right when Roderick walked in, right when all my salespeople all the time walk in, I go, "Do you have a LinkedIn?"
Yes, that is
because I saw you, or I saw your LinkedIn. So instead of learning credit card process in the first 2 or 3 days, I tell them to do LinkedIn tutorials and all that. Like did you have LinkedIn before you worked here? Nope. No. So,
I did, but not really.
It's super important. No, that's what I'm saying. I've seen it, or I don't know. And then now they use LinkedIn more than they do, or at least as much as Instagram and all that. Way more, yeah.
Well, see, during COVID,
y'all met on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think that's So, but during COVID, it actually was great from a networking standpoint because everybody was on LinkedIn. Because I know you at home, so everybody was on. So it was easy to connect with.
Yeah, you're not Starbucks; they're closed.
Exactly. Part of my day, like I'm on there like 30 times a day. So.
Okay. You ever heard of word association? All right, we're gonna do some word association. All right, this is the end of it too. Okay.
Okay.
What's your favorite movie?
Coming to America.
Nice. What's your favorite TV show?
Anime. So
okay, he's an anime guy.
Demon Slayer.
Okay,
because I'm watching that.
Didn't we have a rapper on here one time that really was into that, and he did his little spit, and then he talked about Demon Slayer.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Huh?
Saya.
Yeah, Saya. Yeah,
it is. Oh my God, it's so good. It is so good.
What's your favorite cereal?
Pops.
The corn pops.
Yes.
That's old. That's
old
going
school.
That's going back.
Yeah.
That's going back. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Green. All right, guys, you heard it from him. Pops. Coming to America.
Yes.
Coming to America too. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't like that one as much.
No, they called lightning in a bottle there.
Yeah.
Don't go back there.
Yeah, leave it alone.
That's it. Hey, it was great talking to you.
Pleasure.
We'll do it again.
Yes,
We're going to do some business together. We're going to get business together.
Yes,
We're going to kill the world together.
Yes, sir.
All right. See you guys. Burn the ship. Everybody be kind to each other out there.
Woo woo.